Hey there, good evening. Welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show. This is a show that is dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So here we go. We're back at our series, my favorite albums from 1975. Coming in today is this album, Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. This album was released on February the 24th, 1975, so that's coming up to almost 47 years ago. Is that, yeah, about 48 years ago, almost to the day now. It's a double album, the only studio album that they had that was a double album. Well, a lot of groups often get a lot of fluff when you have a double album, but not so with this album. Now, currently this album is on my playlist. Been up there maybe about 4 months now. And for me, it was the last Led Zeppelin album that I purchased. The last one I ever listened to completely. So, still making its way up. But coming in today on day 18, February the 18th, number 18, Led Zeppelin's Physical Graffiti. So, about this album. Okay, so it was, excuse me, just getting there again. Okay, so again, released on February the 24th, 1975. It's about 82, almost 83 minutes in length, so a fairly lengthy album. On Led Zeppelin's Swan Song label and produced by none other than Jimmy Page. Okay, so the big thing about this album is that production's good on here, pretty good, solid production. Lots of really good tracks on here. I'm still getting familiar with the album, still learning the songs as we go along, and still some of the tracks, of course, I've well known for many years, like Kashmir, of course, and In the Light. Both those songs I knew long before I owned this album. So right there, you've got two really classic Led Zeppelin songs. You also have The Rover, which is really good, and then the Houses of the Holy, which is on this album and not on Houses of the Holy. Another good track, Night Flight, Sick Again, Down at the Seaside. There's a lot of really solid stuff on this album. It's a heavy album, I think, pretty heavy album overall compared to, not that their other stuff isn't heavy. This one, I think, just sounds a lot better than a lot of some of their other stuff. I'm a big fan of In Through the Outdoor. I know that a lot of people weren't, but I like it quite a bit. But this album is very good. I think Zeppelin is still at their height of power when this album came out. Robert Plant's voice is fantastic here. You get a lot of real heavy guitar riffing and catchy hooks and lots of really beefy guitar. There's a couple of really keyboard parts on this too that are a little bit newer to Zeppelin on this album than they were on some of the other ones pre Physical Graffiti. There was a lot more guitar and stuff, not as much keyboards as there is on this album. Sorry, my notes went out. So I'm just going to up it just a little bit because I want to look at some of the tracks here. Talk a little bit about them. I'm not going to talk about too many of them because I'm not as familiar, like I said, with this album. So Custard Pie, that's another song I like quite a bit. A pretty strong Zeppelin song, very Zeppelin-ish too, so great. And I think The Rover is very underrated as well. That's on the first side. Side 2, of course, has Kashmir, which is one of the legendary Zeppelin songs. May actually be my favorite Zeppelin song. It's definitely up there. Definitely in the top 5. for sure. Crown by the Seaside, yeah, I like that tune a lot as well. That's on the third side. And In the Light, of course, has that really spectacular kind of synthesizer keyboard part at the beginning that kind of gives it its energy, and then it breaks in with that heavy drumming that, you know, John Bonham is so known for, and some real heavy guitar, beefy guitar riffs on there. Yeah, and even the album cover kind of reminds me a little bit of Meaty Beaty Big and Bouncy. That kind of cover is kind of similar to that kind of old English housing style, but still good. And Sick Again is another track I like a lot. Now this particular album is a double, and I don't believe this is the deluxe edition, which would have had quite a bit more stuff on it. A lot of earlier versions of the song, you know, some different orchestral parts for like driving through Kashmir and all that kind of stuff. But this album doesn't have that. This is I think the original. So this is a great album, coming in on day 18 at my 18th, and we're moving on up. Still on my playlist. I'm sure by the time this comes off the playlist, it's going to be even higher than it is. It's got its work cut out for it, as we're now from here on in the top 10. We're into the top 10 albums, and most of them are really, really strong albums for me. So, anyways, I enjoyed listening to this tonight before I did it. It's growing on me every day. I think it'll be in my playlist for a while yet. So please list what you like best on this album. What intrigues you about this album? How do you feel about this album as a whole? Please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. It helps me out. And anything that helps me out will make my show better. I'm really getting close now to the point where I'll be able to use my new computer, which I think is going to make both the audio and the video much better than the smaller laptop that I have here. So, and I think that'll make for a lot better and more interesting kind of viewing for all of you people out there. So thank you again for coming on and watching, and we will see you when this comes out tomorrow morning, and we'll be back with another week of musical videos. So I hope to see you then. Take care. Bye.